Okay, so about my trajectory, I found out myself as an artist when I was a little kid. I used it to go to the church. My parents go to the church until this day, but I went out. So when I was in the church, there was some custom of people get united with children um, to make them drawing things and to spend their time learning how to use the materials and stuff like this. So it was really early when I found out that I like art. And when I was in this school, the art was something that really touched me, and I felt that being someone that skateboards really helped me to understand what kind of art I like, because I'm really close to the street art style, and I think that this is the reason for it, because I'm a skateboarder and I'm very close to the culture of graffiti, tissue, and things like this. So this is when I started drawing my own characters, because in the streets, you can have your letter, like a graffiti letter, or you can have your characters. And I was fascinated with the characters. I admired the characters that I saw in the streets and tried to draw them by myself. So this is how I developed my style, and that's it. I think that I see myself as an artist since a little kid because I was so connected with it. It's just the regular school. So I had many friends that were lovers of graffiti too. So we used it to spend time together to trade knowledge. Like, oh, I can do this like this, and here is a tip. I like to color my characters this way. So it was really cool, and we had like a specific moment of the school that we were studying art. Even that was like the European art. It was great because it's knowledge. At the end, it's all knowledge. So me and my friends were out skateboarding, graffitiing, having this exchange of knowledge, trading knowledge and stuff like this. So this is where I got my inspiration with people that were close to me, and with the things that I saw on the streets, in the walls, and that's it. Yes, I got into crypto first. I heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum, like in 2017, something like this. But I wasn't interested because it was about money and profiting, and I was like, I'm working my ass out here because I need to keep eating and doing stuff, so I don't have time and money to invest. So I wish that I had invested back in time, because you can see now the charts can say by themselves. So I think that in 2021, something like this. Yes, 2021, I was introduced with crypto art. That was something that I understood that was related with art and crypto. So the first market that I joined was OpenSea, because I saw I read an article on a website from Brazil that it's called Wall, and on this article they were saying about the crypto art, and they were recommending to enter on the OpenSea, but I realized that was so expensive because it's Ethereum layer one. It was like this, and Ethereum layer one had like really expensive gas fees. So I was kind of insecure to start, but I started. And when I started, I didn't sold anything. I was so sad and like, this is not for me. Let's go back to the streets. But I tried again. But when I tried again, I tried with Hiketnunk. That it was a platform that was developed by Rafael Lima from Brazil, and it was in Tezos. It was so cheap to mine something, and you could charge for any price that you wanted, depending of the price that would pay to mine artwork. So I was okay. I think I can fit here because it's cheaper. I can try many times and it's fine. So the first mind that I made on Catch sold like 5 minutes later. It was cheap, like 2 pesos, but back in the time, pesos was in all-time high, so was really cool for me. I was like, oh, I just earned some crypto with my art, and that's so cool. So I keep it posting on Hiketnunk, and suddenly the Hiketnunk closes, and I was like, where do I go now? And I started to realize that we could experience other chains. So I went from Tezos to Solana, and then I returned to Ethereum because Ethereum was the first chain that I tried, even though that I didn't sold my artwork so fast. I sold, but I sold because of a group chat. Someone helped me to sell my first work on Ethereum. And when I went back to Ethereum, it was on Zora, and I understood that was a layer 2 of Ethereum. And I was like, oh, this is interesting because it's the same chain, but it's cheaper, and I can try many things here too. So after joining the Zora, I started to searching about other stuff on layer 2, and a friend from Argentina, Tornado e Ladelmas, was a couple of friends that were contributing to Basepaint, and they were sharing their pixel artworks, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, this is amazing, because they had their own style, and they contributed to the base paint canvas with their characters when possible. Like there were teams that were able to develop your own character. And I was like, what is this? I want to join it. And she said that was a platform that you can contribute. And I was like, this is so confused. I'm not understanding. So I entered on Basepaint, and I was realizing that multiple cursors were moving in the canvas, and I was like, what is this? There's people online drawing together, and I was really fascinated with it, and I was like, I need to join it. I need to contribute somehow. And I didn't understood how would I earn money or something like this. I was just interested on contribute with my art. And when I joined it, I earned a brush of 500 pixels, and 500 pixels was too much because the canvas was smaller, and we had like many pixels to spend. And the first contribution that I made, I used it like less than half of my full brush, and I was like, okay, I think that my contribution is enough already. And okay, I contributed for the first time, and on the second day, I realized that I could earn something by how many pixels I contributed. So I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I think that I can on day two expand all my brush to see if I can contribute in a good way to the canvas and to see how much can I earn with my full brush. So I spent everything on the second day, and this went to all the later days until I realized that some days you just don't need to use all your pixels because sometimes when you join the canvas is already polished, it's already kind of finished. So if you do something, you have to chat with the people and you have to understand if people want to have your contribution there or if it's better to don't expand your pixels because it would be wasted because someone would fix what you have done. So for me, it was really great because it was an opportunity to chat with people online and to learn and train my my English. So I have a lot of respect for all the artists there because they are painting for a long, long time. I think we are in 8,000 canvas, something like this today. And I joined when the canvas were on the number of 1038, something like this. So I'm a kind of old school on Basepaint, and I feel proud of it because I was contributing with things that I felt that were interesting to the canvas, and naturally I had some upgrades. They were like, okay, this person makes some good contribution, so let's upgrade her brush. And this came naturally, and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is like leveling up on your job or something like this. And it's so cool. Today I have many pixels to use. Most of the days I don't expand them and everything because yeah, sometimes it's just you look at the canvas, you see that it's nice already, and you are like, okay, I'm just going to paint something like here, and it's fine. So this is how I got introduced to base paint and fell in love with it. Okay, so my characters back in the days of graffiti were just I used to draw heads. I love to draw heads until this day, and they were like emo characters because I used to listen to Slipknot, Bring Me the Horizon, System of a Down, bands like this, and I was like, okay, I want to make a character that is going to look like something that I would love to look like. But these characters were much inspired by the bands that I used to listen, and the guys from these bands had nothing to do with my parents. So the characters that I used to develop, um, I used to draw them like for 1 or 2 years, and later I realized that I wanted to bring characters that were like me to the world. And I feel this is a was an important shift because when I started to drawing characters that looked like me, I saw people in the streets passing by the art that I made, and they were saying, "Oh, it looked like me," or "It looked like you." Um, Especially kids. The kids were in love with the characters that I made. So that's it. The early characters that I used to do. It was like some emo, some straight hair, and things like this. And later, 2, 3 years later, I shifted my style to make them look like more me. So they had afro because I had an afro hair. They had a big nose, a big mouth, a big ears. So I feel this was an important shift. Yes, the first NFT that I sold was on Hiket, and it was a drawing that I made of an artist that I like so much, that is Tyler the Creator. He's like in a cart, and in my opinion, back in time, it was my best digital drawing ever. So I was like, okay, I'm sure that I'm going to mine this. So yes, the first NFT was sold on Hiket. It was surreal. I had my heart beating really fast, and I was like, "Oh my god, it just happened!" And I was like, "I want more. I want to make more works. I want to experience more." And with the money that I earned, I was able to collect people works too. We used it to have like events on Getnunk, and on these events, felt like um, going to an art shop or something like this, because we had many artists, and many artists were charging like a low price, so you could spend the money that you earned with many artworks, and it was cool. Yes, today I'm more into Basepaint and coining on Zora because they changed their format. Before it was Mighty Works on Zora, so they were NFTs, but now you just coin your content. The mechanism is kind of different, but I still like to think about NFTs. Like I'm currently working on a collection of PFPs, but these PFPs are made with clay, so they are 3D objects, and I'm planning to make them on highlight. Oh, by the way, I'm familiar with highlight because of Basepaint, because sometimes they might their cursors and PFPs there. So I'm planning to mine there, or manifold, and this PFP collection is going to be attached with my creator coin of Zora. I'm going to charge it in my creator coin. So it's cool because I can still think about NFTs and still think about coining stuff. Today, I have a living with crypto, and this is enough for me. Like, I could make works outside of crypto, like tattooing or selling physical works or stuff like this, but I feel that I need to I need to deal with something inside of me because I have so much appreciation with my physical works. So it's kind of hard to me to sell them. I think they are really valuing, and I think that I want to exhibit them before selling. So today I have a living with crypto only, and this is enough for me. Yes, my living is mainly from Basepaint. I think, oh, I was able to get out of my daily job because of base bench. I use it to receive a specific amount of money on this daily job, and base paint was paying me more than I used it to receive. So I was like, yeah, this don't make sense. I will expend my time and my love with bass paint and something that I like, because this work is getting me nuts, and I was like, I don't want to spend more time here. So mainly my living off is from bass paint. Yes, I used it to work as a designer on publicity agencies, but they were like so boring because their clients were like stuff that I don't relate. So I worked as a designer for 9 years, and being able to quit uh, after all this time and now being able to just draw with pixels was a great feeling. Okay, this is a cool question because so I use it to make digital art and only, but I use it no, I still love pixel art games. I use it to play a lot Metal Slug, and Metal Slug is like a reference for the pixel art community. And I wasn't drawing with pixels before joining Basepaint because I was insecure. I was like, this is great, but I don't think that I can draw with pixels. But drawing with pixels is like really similar to digital drawing because you have the same possibilities, but at the same time you have to reduce some details because sometimes the size that you are working is not enough to make some details. And this is cool because it makes you think about how you want to finish your drawing, how can you make it look simple, but at the same time the person that is looking at can understand what it is. So I was introduced with pixel art by joining Basepaint. The Basepaint artist guided me on how to improve. I watched some lessons from Jude, and he's an amazing person and he's an amazing artist. So that's the way that I got introduced with pixel art, with base paint. It was a gift. So how I earned my brush was because I messaged the base paint team on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, I want to join the platform. I want to see how it works." And after this, they were on my profile, and they saw that I was constant artist and making characters in my drawings. So I think they thought, okay, this is a good artist to have on the community, and that's how I earned my brush. Yes, I think the first upgrade that I had, I messaged someone, like not only one person, but many people from the community. And I was like, hey, I want to make an upgrade. I want to receive an upgrade because I want to make more contributions, bigger contributions. I want to learn how to use more pixels. And I think the first upgrade that I had was because I asked for it, but all the after upgrades that were like 3 or 4 upgrades were naturally happening because they saw that I was committed with the base paint, so they were trusting me. Yes, my current brush is 3500 pixels. So I joined it on the base paint canvas around 138, something like this, and we are current almost in 900. So I consider myself as an old school. Yes. So I used it to start making my characters on the base paint when I joined it, but I realized that I couldn't add my characters on all the canvas because there were some canvas that even they were full or something like this, they didn't had characters in there. So I was like, okay, I have to work with something else. I need to learn how to develop other areas of art, and this is where base paint helped me because I oh a big little detail is that I were able to pay an art course that I was paying with the earnings that I got from Basepaint because I was in my daily job and in Basepaint at the same time. So the money that I earned from daily job was to survive, and the money that I earned from Basepaint, I I paid my art course. So it was really helpful because I learned stuff like how to work with perspective, how to add shadows, lighting, stuff like this. So I kept adding this knowledge that I learned on the base paint because it was necessary. I couldn't just add characters for the rest of the life because some canvas it doesn't fit making characters. So I had to learn on how to apply the perspective knowledge and like the scenario knowledge on the pixel art too because it was necessary. No, it wasn't an online course. It was like a presential course because it was better to learn for me. I think that I have kind of it was a physical art school. It was focused on art, so we learned stuff like this. I was more motivated by learning when I had to be there and not online because I think that online is a feeling different from being there. So I was in this art class and the COVID ruined the world and we had to start studying online. But at the end of the course, I was able to going physically there. Yes, it's like a flywheel. So yes, exactly. With the money of base paint, while I was in my daily job, I was able to pay my art class to learn more about art and to apply these things on base paint. This, I think, this is the way that I were able to have my brush upgraded because you can see the my evolution there. Okay, so currently I'm more motivated by selling my artworks physically when I print them because I can make multiple copies. Many people can have the same artwork, but at the same time, I can't charge so much because it's a copy. So I think that the value can be attached by having one of one artwork and not a copy. And this is why I have this difficulty to price my artworks because I feel like that I just can't charge any price because it's all about feelings. I really like to when painting to think about what I'm feeling and what is my head, and it's really different when I'm drawing physically and digitally because when I'm working on digital I can have like a reference and kind of make a tracing artwork even that I have my own style and it doesn't look a lot with the original reference because I change it until it's looking great for me, and great for me means that you can like think about the reference but you can't say that it's the same thing. And when applying this same technique on physical, it's different because you can't layer, you can't have layers and you can't just trace unless you have like a projector or something like this, but I don't do this. So it's different for me because I add more elements, I add more feelings, I add more love. I think that it's hard for me to price those things, and that's why I think it's hard for me to sell my artworks. And I think that having them together in a place, exhibiting them and making people being able to see my artwork and feel it, maybe can help me to organize myself to understand how can I charge my artworks. My physical works are made with gouache, sometimes with oil, but I don't like oil so much because it's kind of hard to manage and it took so long to dry. Sometimes it doesn't even dry. And so all my works, I prefer working with gouache. And when I'm not painting, I'm sculpting. Yes, yes. They are not related. It's like different stuff, but you can see that it's my work because it has my style. If you see a drawing, a painting, and a sculpture of me, you can see that it's from the same person because I bring the same style to both of things. I like to make big nose, big mouth, big ears, big hair, and really inspired by Afro diasporic culture and indigenous. So this is why my characters look like this. No, it's actual. Oh, it's actual clay on physical state. Yes, I'm not going to just take a picture. I'm planning to 3D scan then because I think that you can have a better perspective of what is the work because you can turn around and see the details. So my idea is to sculpt them and later 3D scan and to someone use it as a PFP. You can't upload a 3D object or a GIF or something like this. So for having this as a PFP, I'm going to send it a static version of the sculpture. But the person that on the PFP piece will have the static version, the 3D version, and the physical version too. Yes, I'm already working. I actually brought one of the pieces because I'm going to give it as a gift for a friend. Yeah, it's a good question. Let me think about it like for a second. Um, I think that base paint helps me realize that sometimes less is more. So I use it to add many elements on my canvas, and I think that naturally I realized that I can add just a couple stuff on the canvas and it will look nice. Just like the base paint canvas. Some canvas you have like many elements and it's look great because some things just fit, but there are things that are really peaceful to look at. It's really like it gives you that feeling of hypnotizing you while you're looking at. So I think that base paint helped me to realize that sometimes I can just add a few stuffs, a few details, just a little of something, and it will look great already. But it's not related to pixel art. I think that the knowledge that base paint brought me it's applied on my whole way of thinking in my canvas, but I didn't try to make pixel art in physical canvas yet, but maybe someday. What is base paint? So base paint for me it's a family. It's a place that you have to connect with the people, you have to talk with the people, and you can learn a lot with them. And it's a place that you can actually develop a big area of yourself, like the respect, the knowledge of talking English, the knowledge of bringing your contributions, your artworks. So the base paint is like a family for me because yeah, I have feelings for the people that are there. They are real people and they are really motivated to have a conversation to see how you're feeling. If you are not feeling well, you can chat this and people will say words, will say positive words to you. So it's really cool because at the same time that you can make artworks and you can have this possibility of making your art looks better, you can have these people to chat and to see what they think about your art or just to chat about something random. Amazing. I love the girls on Basepaint. They are my favorite ever. I like Manito. I like Donnie, Design, SB. I really love the Creamy, Juge, all these people too, because they are amazing artists. But I think that my favorite people are the girls because they have like a different perspective on artworks and they are more, I think they are more sensible about what to draw and details and shading, even stuff like this, because it took time, and I think that woman is really dedicated to craft something really good. And this is not something exclusive from women. I think men are too able to do it. That's because I admire many artists there. And to say something negative about base paint, I think that some guys just draw women in a weird way, like with big tits, big butt, and I feel like you're being weird. Like there's many people here, there's women, have some respect. So I think this is not great, but it's the only thing. And when this happens, normally someone fix it. But I think it's kind of weird to do something like this. I think it's just bad taste because, I mean, that were a team that I suggested that was a color palette really Brazilian, and I was like, okay, this team has to be Brazil. And when the team won, I was like, okay, people, so Brazil is not Copa only, it's not soccer, it's not caipirinha, it's more than this because Brazil is an indigenous territory, so it was colonized, and I think that we can make this canvas look like something that people actually think about Brazil. So soccer, samba, caipirinha and stuff like this, but let's consider adding some animals, some forests, some indigenous people. So when this team won, one of the first contributions was a woman that had a really exaggerated boob, and I was like, guys, this is not the point of the canvas. Let's make it different. And it's not. It were not this canvas only. We had more canvas that people were drawing women, sexualizing them. And I think this is a just a bad taste or someone that doesn't see women as they should be saw. Mm, I I think that it can be having a warning, something like this, like, hey, don't keep drawing this because it's not actually against the rules, but it's not cool to have it on the canvas, you know? So I think the person that made it had a warning or something like this because it's been a while that I didn't saw something like this. So people drawing over your work is going to happen until the end of the days of base paint because sometimes someone's on a different time zone want to join the canvas too, and I think that it's not personal. I think people look at the canvas and try to fit their work on some spot, and they actually can be covering your artwork. Myself covered already some artworks, but every time that I cover some artwork, I try to move the previous artwork to somewhere so the both can exist on the canvas. Um, but it's really normal to have your artwork covered. And about the bots, I don't think we have bots on canvas, like painting the canvas. Maybe we have bots buying the canvas, but this is a great thing, so I'm not going to complain. But I think that on early days on Basepaint, we had bots like spinning random pixels, but they were gone. I don't think that we have bots painting on the canvas. We only have actually artists working there. So I think that I even tweeted something about this that would be cool if the base paint had like a strategy or something like this. The punks actually have a token that the fees from this token are directly to the punk collection. So I thought that would be cool if base paint had a token because it's a good project on the community, and the Basepaint today only sells NFTs. And I think that if Basepaint had a token, it would be cool because people would be interested on investing, and I think the money earned could be read directly to the Basepaint NFTs. And I think that Basepaint really improved from past days, but I think it took so long to fix some stuffs that are really necessary. Like if you don't have a computer, if you are someone contributing from your tablet, your iPad, or your phone, you wasn't able to erase specific pixels. You had to keep it clicking on undo. Today we have this erase function, but I think that it took so long to make it happen. So I don't think that it's something really hard to develop. Like I'm not a dev, so I don't have like a place to talk, but I think that could be something that would help other people from the past. It's great that we have it now, but I think that we still can improve on some stuff. Yes, when I cover someone's works, I move it by redrawing it because you just can't move someone's works unless you go to the animation section. And when you go to the animation section, you can see all the contributions so far. And when you see someone's contributions, you can copy stroke from it and you can paste on the canvas, and you can actually move it by using the arrows on the keyboard. But sometimes the contribution that the person made, it's not the finished artwork, so sometimes you just have to redraw, and if you don't have pixels enough, you are not able to move the artwork that you covered. So I the stuff with quitting my job and having a leaving off Basepaint was decided because I felt great on Basepaint. Like even that people don't see me, they are like not transphobic or something like this because they have respect for me. They look at my artworks and they consider this. They don't consider what do I do with my body, what are my mind or things like this. And the place that I use it to work, I mean, we didn't had transphobic situations directly, but I didn't felt welcome there, and the way from my home to the work was so hard because people keep looking at me because I'm a different person, and it's really bad to have this feeling. So I was like, okay, I can stay at home or at any place in the world and keep contributing on Basepaint. And I feel that this really helped me to being more health about my head, because even though that I make therapy and stuff like this, having these situations were so hard because it was so violent. And on base bench, I never had an awkward situation or a transphobic situation, so I feel more welcome there. And I think this was like the money earning and this feeling was 50-50. It was the same importance for me. So this is why I decided to quit my job and just living off base bench. Yes, exactly. Like I today I live in Grajaú, and it's a really cultural place. We have like many art movements and people from the hoods working, and we have a lot of LGBT people working together, the queer community. And I went from Grajaú to Berrini, that it's a really different place. Like the Berrini neighborhood is a place where most of the companies are concentrated. So the people that you saw that could look like me were working on, I don't know, spots that were wasn't just like mine. I was a designer, so it was lonely to be in Bahini, and it was really awkward. So thanks to Base Paint, today I'm happier. So my mom was like, I don't understand what you're saying, but if you are earning money, if you are living off by it, it's enough for me. If you are happy, that it's the most important thing, it's cool. But I actually explained how base paint worked to her, like in a really simple way. I said, we have a canvas, we have a team, we have colors, and we have like 100 of artists working together, and we organize ourselves to make a really cool canvas. And she was like, this is interesting, and it's all online. And I was like, yes, it's all online, and people all around the world makes their contributions, and it was cool. About my family, I actually um, introduced the base paint to my both nephews, and one of them still works on base paint. They still contribute to the canvas. They have like a small brush, and one of them was banned because they were contribution random stuff, and I was like, yay, you can't work like this. You have to chat, you have to make something that is valuable so you can upgrade and not have your brush banned. But he didn't um wanted to follow my tips and got banned. But the other nephew, the Jake, it's the name that he uses on Basepaint. He have 400 pixels today, and for me, it's a good amount of pixels because he's someone that is growing up on life and already having this responsibility on Basepaint is really important. And I have my brother that actually contributes to the base paint canvas too. And I introduced it to my husband, but he didn't felt like comfortable to do it because he mainly works on phone. So making pixel art on phone was really hard when he joined it. But I'm trying to encourage him to come back and to chat and to feel familiar with everyone and feel comfortable to make their contributions. Today I prefer to work on computer, but there were a time that I preferred to work on iPad because we had like another website. I can't remember the name right now, but it was a website that you could upload the current state of Canvas on Basepaint and you could draw with your pen on iPad. But this website started to lagging so much and I didn't try it to go back on base paint on iPad with my pen because when I tried it, I had to insert pixel per pixel, not just make a stroke. But today you are able to do it, so I think it's more comfortable to draw there. But I didn't try it yet. Today I prefer to use the Ace Sprite and with the scripts that Creamy created, it's really helpful. And I think that I prefer to work on computer today. It's easier to manage. Hmm. I don't think it's easy to explain, but I will try to. So the scripts that Creamy made are really helpful because you can actually remove redundant pixels. For example, you have many pixels on the canvas already and you made your contribution, you are about to save it over someone works, and you can actually save some pixels by removing the redundant pixels. And this is a really great um, tool because that's it. You can save pixels, and saving pixels it's actually good because sometimes you have to fix something, or maybe after saving you realize that you could uh, try something different or fix something, and you if you don't have pixels enough you are not able to make these changes. So saving pixels is really cool. This is was something that I requested many times on chat. I tweeted about it. I tried to make the devs from Basepaint to develop it directly on Basepaint, but Creamy was faster and they made this script and it works really cool. And I think it's cool to me to work on a sprite. Like they have many possibilities. They have stuff like you can make a perfect circle, a perfect square, stuff like this that you are not able to do it on Basepaint actually. And it's a simple stuff, but it can help you a lot to improve your artworks or make it look better. And when you create on Sprite, today we have the script that you can copy the strokes that you made on Sprite and paste directly on Basepaint canvas. So these both um, scripts are really cool and really helpful. I think that most of the artists today use the this script, and also there's a script that can count how many pixels you are using. The base paint itself shows that how much pixels do you have left, but on a sprite you are not able to see it, and Creamy developed this script. So thank you, Creamy. This is like a Photoshop of pixel art. I think that Basepaint can go further, like um, farther actually is the word I think, and but they have to improve. Like they have to bring updates because I don't know. I regret. I have the fear of people. I don't know, like feeling that it's boring. I don't think it's boring because every day is a different canvas and a different artwork. So if you love art, the base paint is the perfect project. But like the base paint is a reference of project on the base community because I don't know any other project that like it's longer than base paint. It works so well with many people working together. So I think it has a really big potential, but I think they have to keep updating, keep people interest on the base page, and I think that the strategy that I mentioned before can be a good way of starting. And yeah, I'm not a dev again, so I don't know how hard it is to develop this, but I think that maybe the devs can bring their crazy ideas to the base pen and see how it works, and if it don't work they can remove. And they I think that base pen can try new stuff, like when we have the PFP collection sales, or the special canvas, or the when they upgraded the size of the canvas, for example. It was like huge moments, and it felt like people in community were more interested. So I think that it's cool to keep having this. I think that the early days we had more sponsored canvas that were like commissions or things like this, and I think that we can have these back again would be cool. I think the last one that we had were about the punks strategy, by the way, and it sold more than usually so sells. So when you see something like this, when you see a canvas that sells more than the others, it's I think it's a good way to see what can work sometimes, and maybe apply this again and see how it goes. And about myself, I will keep on Basepaint until the Basepaint exists because it's my favorite place on Web3. There's just a few places that I feel comfortable working on, and Basepaint is like the top one. And I want to keep working with art. I want to keep developing my knowledge on art, and I think I have a lot to improve on pixel art because, like I said, I was introduced with pixels with base paint. So even though that I'm artist, like a kid, I feel like I'm a kid on base paint now, like on pixel art. So I have a lot to learn, and that's it. I want that we both, me and base paint, go farther and have success and keep touching people's hearts and minds and keep people interested on what we are building together. I think this is a lie. I don't think base paint will stop because it would not make sense to end on the like a milestone. It's a milestone. You can start a new journey when reach like on this number. So I don't think it will end. But like this is something to worry, I think, but I don't think it's true. Yeah, the ones that I collected, and I think that I collected like Mm, 13 canvas. Mm, I think people collect because it's beautiful, but they can resell the canvas. So it's kind of a business too. I have a lot of offers on my Basepaint canvas. If I enter on OpenSea right now, I can see offers on all my Basepaint canvases, but I don't think it's worth for me to sell them right now. And maybe in another moment. And when I mine canvas, I like to collect two times because one I can keep for myself and the other one I can sell someday. So I think that people collect to support the artists because the artists earn from these fees and because it's beautiful, like people really jig with the base paint canvas. Sometimes I see people sharing the old stuff from base paint and say, whoa, this canvas looks amazing and da da da, something like this. And it's a business. Yeah, I don't think it would make much sense because um, the skateboarding friends that I had when I was in school, many of them today they don't talk with me after I transitioned, and it's fine. I don't care about it. And so the skateboarders that I used to hang out, they were also artists, but today I like to skate more with the girls. I feel like more comfortable skating with them, and many of them don't make drawing or stuff like this. But it's something that would be cool to try because a few of them actually draws, so maybe it would be a good shot. But yeah, I try to introduce people that are more familiar with drawing to the base paint because it can be something really difficult to draw with pixels. You have these limitations and you have to think more about what are you going to contribute, and you have to be also careful because it's a base it's the canvas, it's from everyone, like there's no uh, special person that will define this stuff, like it's defined by the whole community of the base paint. So if the most of the people don't like your contribution, you have to improve so people can approve it. And this can be hard for some people. Like in the start of my journey on base paint, I use it to make contributions that people use it to cover a lot, and I felt it personal. But I was like, okay, it's not personal. I just have to improve. And I felt that while I was improving, I had more chance to keep my contribution there. And yes, every time before saving, I send it on the chat to see what people think about it, to see if they approve. And that's it. Some people can have this difficult. There's also the thing that you have to talk in English. The the person that I introduced it to Basepaint, they were more familiar with English, even though some of them were not. I told them to use the translator, but sometimes you just need to know how to speak English to understand some stuff that people are saying. Okay, there's something really cool that I want to share. It's the fact that I'm from Brazil, but I'm currently on Buenos Aires right now. And I'm Buenos Aires because I'm going to the Dev Connect event, and I was just able to go to the Dev Connect because I won tickets from raffle that people that minted a base paint canvas would be able to maybe receive a ticket, and I was one of the persons that won. So with the money of Basepaint, I bought my ticket. I bought um, the place to stay. Not bought, but I rent the place to stay, and it's cool because it's all Basepaint related. Like I'm in Argentina right now because of Basepaint actually, and this is really cool. I think this is an important thing to say. Unfortunately, they are not working on Basepaint anymore. I think they lost their brushes or their interest. I don't know what happened, but they live like in a city that is kind of far from Buenos Aires. So I don't think that I will be able to see them. But I have a drawing tattooed in me that Tornado and La Delmas, that were the people that introduced me. I have a drawing of them like on my skin tattooed. I don't know. I don't think so because I saw the list of the persons that won the tickets, and I'm not familiar with them. None of them actually contributes to the canvas. They were only supporters, like they were collectors, and I don't think that I'm going to meet someone from Base Paint. But it would be cool if it happened.